Welcome to Leadership Insights with me, Chilufya Wanchinga, founder and CEO of New Way Africa Leadership Initiative, NWALI, a non-profit organization with the prime aim of educating the masses on leadership and civic education. Today's topic is democracy versus dictatorships. Which is best for Africa? Some school of thought argue that Africa needs to return to dictatorships because Africa needs strong leaders who are able to push the agenda of development for the continent. They further argue that democracy has failed Africa because leaders tend to focus on winning elections instead of service delivery. But I look at African history in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. It clearly shows that generally dictatorships failed. Now, I know that there are some exceptions where we have had some dictators who have done some good to some extent. But the question is, what happens when the dictator is no longer there? What happens when he passes on? Oftentimes, the whole system disintegrates. So, democracy may sound like the long route to take, but democracy is actually the better route, because democracy requires responsibility. Democracy requires responsible leaders, leaders who are honest, leaders who are fair, leaders who are transparent. Democracy also requires a mass of people who are critical, a mass of people who are participatory, who are ready to vote, ready to choose good leaders. Democracy requires maturity. It requires responsibility. And that's why some people want to run away from the process of democracy and come up with a shortcut and turn to dictatorships, putting trust in one individual, confidence in one person. This is dangerous because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. The better route is to put confidence in the people to elect a leader every so often, depending upon the constitution. Democracy is a sweet thing. We just need to make it work. It requires taking the message of democracy, the basic knowledge of democracy, to the four corners of the continent, to the rural areas, to the urban areas. It requires the civil society, it requires individuals, it requires the corporate world to come on board, to take the basic knowledge of democracy to the outskirts so that we can have a responsible citizenship. Democracy is good. Democracy will work for Africa, but it requires responsibility. So, thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this video, I'll ask you to like it. And if you want to continue getting more videos from NWALI, please go ahead and subscribe. I would also ask you to share this video, because by sharing this video, we are partnering together in taking this message of hope for the continent to our friends out there so that we together can work together in bringing enlightenment on the subject of leadership and civic responsibilities on the continent. If you have not yet bought my book, Attitude Change, the answer to Africa's leadership question, please go ahead. The book is found on Amazon. You can get this book as a hard copy or electronic copy at a very reasonable price. And if you want to get this book locally here in Zambia, the book is found at Radio Christian Voice station in Lusaka. I would also love to hear you comment on what you think on Africa's leadership with regard to dictatorship or democracy. For now, God bless you and God bless Africa. See you next time.